G'day everyone. Last night I went to a PvP pet battle tournament hosted by a guy called Gerissar. I managed to get second, so I was pretty happy with myself. It was a lot of fun. Um, we had a caster called Lacey from Germany. There were some prizes. There were 9 participants from North America, Latin America, and I was from Oceania. I suppose I was the Oceanic representative in that way. So this video I'm going to just do a narration for a few of the games that I was involved in. Um, anyway, it was heaps of fun and I hope you enjoy. So just before we start the narration, each participant in the tournament could run only one team. You could change the abilities of the pets in between matches, but you had to stick with the same 3 pets throughout the tournament. I used this team, which is probably my strongest team at the moment that I've been playing around with in the meta for the last few months. It's not very creatively called Deep Shit. It consists of Slimy Dark Hunter, Power Speed breed, Anomalous, which is a Power breed, and Leviathan Hatchling, Health Power breed. I'll probably do another video showcasing this team a little bit, but like Anomalous has got really good self synergy and great AoE, can change the weather. Slimy Dark Hunter's got good self synergy again, passive healing, can change the weather, it's got a dodge. Leviathan Hatchling can slow the enemy team down with Primal Cry, and it's got a dot as well, an aquatic attack, and the aquatic racial is good for soaking damage as well. So you'll see a bit of it, this team being used in the tournament here. So here we go. My first opponent was a guy called Wisconsin. He's running Wicked Soul, Fiendish Imp, and Hermit Crab, 3 really strong pets. I'm just thinking about which pet to start with. I'm pretty sure he's going to start with the Imp. So the Primal Cry will slow the whole team down, which I want to do. He's, of course, portaled me out. I don't want to fight him with the Slimy Dark Hunter, but I would like to start putting some AoE on the back line of his team, so I'm thinking about running Anomalous here. He can't push me back out again with his portal for another 5 turns, so I'm having a bit of a think about it. I end up going with the Leviathan Hatchling to get the Primal Cry on first. So there's the Primal Cry coming out. He did heaps of damage to me right at the start there, he got a big crit, quite lucky. So now I'm going to switch to the Anomalous to start getting the AoE damage out. He's already doing quite a bit of damage to me with the Imp, he got another little crit there, pretty lucky. So I get my Toxic Fumes down to put my AoE dot down. Unfortunately, this is the last attack that I'm going to get with Anomalous, which is pretty annoying. Because if you can get both those dots on, it's really strong, but with the Firebolt and the Immolation there, Anomalous is gone, so I'm already in a bit of a, not a great situation. There's a bit of damage going out on the back line, but still not looking great so far. The Imp's got the speed bonus now, so on the back foot still. Brings his Wicked Soul out. Just try to get a bit of damage on it. I'm pretty sure he's going to use Haunting Song, I think, but I don't want to risk taking any undead damage. So the Leviathan Hatchling is good here because he won't take much damage from undead, he'll take weak damage. That dot, the Haunt, is not going to do much damage at all to the Leviathan Hatchling because of the aquatic racial plus its weak damage. Aquatic racial prevents dots from doing, I think it does, dots do 50% less damage. So he's brought the Imp in, try and get a dot down on it. I think I'm just about finished here. See, it only did 50 damage that, but the Immolation's finished off my Leviathan Hatchling, so really in a bit of trouble at this point in the match because I've only got my last pet. I have to try and ride it out. I've still got the speed debuff on the enemy team for 2 turns, so I'm able to knock out the Imp there. I'm feeling hopeful that I can kill the Wicked Soul, but I don't know how I'm going to go against the Hermit Crab because the speed debuff's about to run out, and Hermit Crab's a very fast pet. He got a big hit on me there with Ghostly Bite. I didn't realize he was running Ghostly Bite. I thought he'd be running the other attack. I'm still hitting him there with Nether Blast because I want the passive healing that I get, and the passive healing is also buffed by the Moonlight, so that's some pretty good synergy with the Slimy Dark Hunter. So the Hermit Crab's faster here, which really puts me on the back foot again, 1v1 here. So he goes for the dive. I hit him with the Moonlight, which is buffed by itself. So you can see all the self synergy in the Slimy Dark Hunter. Basically, there's not much I can do here. Just try and keep hitting him so that I'm getting that passive healing. Using a dodge, but I'm slower than him, so it's half as effective, which is a bit of a pain. Just hit him again with a Nether Blast. And basically, I know I've lost here, but I've got an idea of what he's doing, so I haven't completely lost hope. It's a best of 3, so this is the first match, so Wisconsin takes that one. So in between the first and the second match with Wisconsin, I had a really hard think about what I would do. I didn't change any abilities around, but I did have a really hard think about how I would open against him, because I knew he'd start with the Fiendish Imp. They pretty much always start with the Fiendish Imp. So this time my plan was, I'll swap right at the start so that because I don't want my Slimy Dark Hunter, so he actually nethergates my Slimy Dark Hunter. So it puts one of my other 2 pets that I do want to run in. So straight away start laying down the AoE with Anomalous. Try and get all those dots out. And he doesn't have his nethergate for a little while, and I'll be able to take some more damage this time. So I've got the Toxic Fumes, the buffed Poison Protocol, and then I'll put down my dot, and that combined with the Poison Protocol does quite a lot of damage. I know he's going to kill me here, but that's fine. That's what Anomalous is for. It's kind of like a firework. You just let it go. And I want to get down my Primal Cry here to slow the whole team down, which will help a lot. He brings in the Wicked Soul here, which is pretty good, because it won't do much damage to the Leviathan Hatchling, and the Fiendish Imp dies on the backline from the dots there. So that shows how strong Anomalous is. He couldn't get his plan with the Fiendish Imp to sit on the backline and let it heal. It had already taken too much damage. So Wicked Soul puts down the Haunt here. I'm feeling pretty good already, because that Haunt's going to do nothing against the Aquatic. Hermit Crab's still faster than my Leviathan Hatchling, even though I've got the speed debuff on him, the Primal Cry, but it doesn't really matter, because as long as I can keep that Primal Cry on him, Slimy Dark Hunter will do really well against the Hermit Crab. Hermit Crab's one of the strongest pets this expansion, Battle for Azeroth. So what I'm trying to do here is predicting he's going to try and dodge there. I don't want to Primal Cry and miss the Primal Cry. The most important thing is for me to get the Primal Cry on, so that when Slimy Dark Hunter comes in, I've got the speed advantage against a Hermit Crab. So that's what I was doing there. I was just waiting until he'd used all his defensives and dodged the dive. And then I can just get a couple of tail whacks out, tail slaps. I'm not going to bother putting the dot on him because he's an aquatic. Dots don't hurt aquatics very much. The Primal Cries killed the Wicked Soul on the backline, so looking really good. I've still got 2 turns of slowed Hermit Crab there, which will be enough to make good use of my dodge, so I'll get 2 turns of dodge. And basically any combination of Moonfire and Nether Blast here will finish him off. I've got way more health than him, so yeah. So he'll probably go for another pinch and then go for the dive after this. Because Hermit Crab's so fast, he can make really good use of the Shell Shield and the dive, and the pinch keeps ramping up with damage. So it's a very, very strong pet. But in this case, I've just been able to put enough pressure on him and get him slowed for my Slimy Dark Hunter, and that's a win. So I was really happy with that. So it's 1-for-1 with Wisconsin at that point, and we're ready to go on to our 3rd match. So here's the 3rd game against Wisconsin. I start with Anomalous, and I do the same thing that I did before. I switch to the Slimy Dark Hunter to bait his Nethergate, but this time he doesn't fall for it. He goes for the Immolation, which is quite smart. I decided to stay in, but I don't want to get hit with any undead abilities here, so I go for the Phase Shift. He goes for the Haunt, it misses, so I'm in a good position here, but he's got his Fiendish Imp on the backline, which he's quite happy about, so that Immolation's hitting my front pet. Thinking quite hard what to do. I think I'll go for the Leviathan Hatchling, because whatever undead damage he does, it's just not going to do anything against the Leviathan Hatchling. So it only does 400 damage, and he's stunned himself with that ability. So go for the Primal Cry here. This is looking good, although I know he's going to Nethergate here, so I decided to just get the dot out while I can. There's the Nethergate. My Leviathan Hatchling's taken a lot of damage, and that was a big crit, so I'm a bit anxious about this now. But I think I've got the Primal Cry up, so let's just get Anomalous out. He doesn't have a Nethergate, and start laying the damage down on the backline pets. So I go for Anomalous. I'm going to take some damage here, but I've just got to do my best with Anomalous to get that AoE out, because otherwise he gets useless later in the game. This is probably the only other attack I'm going to get, so I didn't get full use of Anomalous here. He managed to deny full use of Anomalous. But then he made a mistake there, and he switched to his Wicked Soul. He's only got 1 tick left on Immolate, so that's not going to help him much. He'll go for the Song here to heal his pets. I think that was a mistake on his part, because his Wicked Soul's taking a lot of damage now. He doesn't have Immolate up on his Fiendish Imp. He doesn't have any easy options here, because he's only got his Haunt and his Ghostly Bite, and the Ghostly Bite will stun him, so it's a risky play by him. So he's stunned, so I can do whatever I like. Come out and put on the Primal Cry again. I'm looking pretty good here. That backline AoE is doing really well. He hasn't been able to get his his Fiendish Imp's Immolate back up to heal it. His Wicked Soul has taken all that dot damage on the backline, and he's about to die next turn. I want to save the Leviathan Hatchling for possibly another Primal Cry, so I switch to the Slimy Dark Hunter. Decide to start self-healing myself a little bit. 2 more rounds of the slow debuff, so I want to use that for the phase shift. Now, I made a big mistake here. I think I really should have used the phase shift there, but he also made a mistake and he switched to his Imp for some reason. But then I didn't quite finish him, and he can put up the Nether Portal here, so he's definitely going to use that. But that's going to allow me to get up another Primal Cry, so it actually ended up working out okay for me. We're both trying really hard this third match to survive, and I think in the end it actually disrupted his strategy, and my team managed to be a bit more resilient. I'm not really worried if he it's only the Hermit Crab left now. I'm not really worried if he kills me. I've got the speed debuff for a couple more turns, so that's going to really help out the Slimy Dark Hunter. He's almost certainly going to put up his Shell Shield here, so I'll try and get the big hit on him with the Moonfire. Even if that hadn't been a crit, I would have definitely won that. So it felt really good getting a win there. That was a lot of fun. So here's my second opponent, Balinor. I saw him running a Sandstorm team against a couple of the other guys, so I was a bit anxious because it's a good counter for Anomalous, plus I had an aquatic pet. So I know what he's going to do. He's going to start with the Kiraji Guardling and try to get weather control. That's essentially what's happening. I know he's going to use that Sandstorm when he can, so I'm not going to use the weather because he's faster than me and he'll change the weather. So it goes to the Blackout Kick, not really much I can do. So I pass there. He's gone for the Crush. I'm really waiting for him to put that Sandstorm down, and there he goes for it. So now I can change the weather to Toxic Fumes, which will be good for me. But the reason he's running the Butterfly is so that he can change the weather again on me. He knows I'm going to Toxic Fumes. So he's going to go for the Sandstorm now. So I want to get weather control again. So I'm going to switch to my Slimy Dark Hunter to change the weather. Slimy Dark Hunter is also a good counter for this pet because it has some magic attacks. Now I have a quick think here. He's almost definitely going to use Cocoon Strike. So what I actually did was I passed to allow him to get that little attack, and Cocoon Strike slows him right down, so I can actually make good use of my dodge here. So I use that, and he can see that he's not in a very good matchup here. So he switches to his autumnal sprouting, which was a really strong pet for his team. So I'm not quite sure what to do now. We've been both switching around a lot. I want to try and get the primal cry down so that I can get a bit of a speed advantage for this. I've also got a type advantage here, which is really good. I'm surprised he didn't switch out here, but I think he wanted to go for his Fist of the Forest, which is a very hard-hitting attack with the power autumnal sprouting. So he's probably going to try and get weather control here again. So we're sort of back to square one, and his team's in better shape than mine, so things aren't looking really good for me. So I'm already sort of out of options. I do have the speed debuff on him, which is really good. So this time it's slightly different. I'm able to quickly get the toxic fumes out and change the weather, but he's already got the health advantage, so he's not too worried. Not quite sure what to do here. I know he's going to stun me next, so I end up choosing to go with Slimy Dark Hunter. He's going to stun me certainly, but I just have to try and ride it out. His autumnal sprouting is fully healed on the backline there, so that's a bit of a worry. And the butterfly is still over 50% health, so it's still got its flying ratio. Things aren't looking really good. He's just kind of going for the crushes here, just so he can get that passive healing and whittle me down. I'm sort of out of options. I don't want to use my Moonfire because he'll immediately come with the butterfly and change it to Sandstorm again. So I'm kind of thinking there's really not much I can do. Just try and finish off this Guardling, but I'm just on such low health now. It's not looking very good. I really couldn't make much use of my Anomalous just because of the weather control that he's got on his team. Now, there's nothing I can do here. He's probably going to use Sandstorm. If I switch to my Leviathan Hatchling, he's going to one-shot it because it's weak. If I let him, he's got the flying racial bonus still, so he's still going to attack first. He's not going to use Cocoon Strike. There's not really much I can do here. So he goes for the Sandstorm and finishes off my Slimy Dark Hunter. I'm sort of out of options here. I'm kind of hoping that I could get his flying racial down, but I don't have a lot of options left. This goes for the Peck. I've got him past his flying racial, but he's still faster than the Leviathan Hatchling, so there's not much really more that I can do there. So that's the first win for Balinor. So here's my second match against Balinor. I had a bit of a think in between the matches if there were any abilities I could change up or anything like that, but there really aren't with my team, so I just stuck with the same abilities. I decided to change my starting strategy a little bit. I thought this time what I'll do is I really want to get the Primal Cry out to slow his team down so that I could get a speed advantage for the weather changes. Even to the point where I'd take the first Sandstorm, which is a bit of, hurts getting it on the Leviathan Hatchling because it's an aquatic pet. So he goes for the stun, and then he goes for the Sandstorm. Luckily it's not a crit, but it's still quite a lot of damage on my aquatic pet. So he has a bit of a think about it, whether he wants to switch to the butterfly maybe and get another Sandstorm. Yeah, I don't have a lot of options here because I've got 2 weather changes and I've got this aquatic pet who takes a lot of damage from 2 of his pets. He eventually decides to go for the crush here. So he stays in. I get my Primal Cry finally. So I've got the speed advantage now. Now I think he's going to switch to the butterfly, so I actually switch out for my Slimy Dark Hunter here. Because the Slimy Dark Hunter is quite a good counter for the butterfly, but he decides to go with his autumnal sprouting. So I'm thinking here, okay, first off I want to change the weather. what I'm scared of is his Fist of the Forest. I've got the speed advantage on him though, which is good. So first off I get my Moonfire out, he gets his heal up. Now I'm thinking here, he knows that I've got a dodge, so he's probably going to go for a club first. So I decide to try and tease that out, and then I go for the dodge because he thinks I'm just going to keep nether blasting. And that baits his Fist of the Forest there. So that was a pretty lucky move by me. Because that's pretty hard hitting ability, Fist of the Forest. It works well with his team because he can always, because he's an elemental pet, he ignores the 10% miss chance with the sandstorm, so it's quite a good pet to match with a sandstorm team. So we're just sort of going back and forth here. He knows his strategy is he can go to the back line at any point and just heal back up from that heal over time. And the Moonlight's going to help him. Sandstorm's going to help him. So he's in a pretty comfortable position. So another blackout kick out on my pet. He's got the speed advantage back again now. So I'm just going back and forth with the Karaji Guardling. He changes the weather, so I'll change the weather. Basically. The Slimy Dark Hunter gets a great benefit from the Moonlight because it buffs the humanoid self-healing ratio, and it buffs the Slimy Dark Hunter's damage, so it works pretty well. But his Autumnal Sprouting's healed back up here completely. I've got a nice ramped up Nether Blast, buffed by the Moonlight, so I'm doing some pretty good damage and some pretty good self-healing, but I'm struggling a bit. So I try to dodge the Fist of the Forest again. There's actually the video broke there, sorry. It missed a few seconds. I actually switched to the Anomalous to take the Fist of the Forest. So Anomalous was just sitting there doing nothing for ages. Yeah, sorry about that. But so I just used my Anomalous to just try and get out any more damage I can on the Karaji Guardling. Didn't quite manage to finish him. So I'm not in a very good position here. I'm already like 50% health on two of my pets, and one of my pets is dead. He's Autumnal Sproutling. He hasn't even used his Butterfly yet. It's just using the self-healing on the Autumnal Sprouting to come out, use Fist of the Forest, go back. Running out of options here. Aquatic versus a Flying, very bad matchup for me. My Primal Cry's not going to take the Butterfly down below the Flying ratio. So I swapped here so that I'd get the first turn. So I get my phase shift again, my dodge. Which is good. No, he doesn't like this matchup, so I'm pretty sure he's going to swap back to his Autumnal Sprouting. But it's been a real problem for me. I don't have my dodge for the Autumnal Sprouting now, so he knows he can just Fist of the Forest whenever he wants. So I decide to switch over to the Aquatic because it's better for me. Now there's a 50-50 chance here that I'll get the Primal Cry off first, which would help a little bit. I think I'm a bit too behind at this point in the match. I got lucky and got the first attack, so I've got the nice speed advantage here. But I've still got one more cooldown, one more turn of cooldown on my dodge. So I'm really worried about the Fist of the Forest here. He goes for it. He knows that I didn't have my dodge ready, so I'm pretty much out of options now. There's not much left. So basically he had the better team for this matchup, but I gave it my best, and yeah, it was lots of fun. So, you know, really enjoyed the tournament, and that's it, basically. GG. So it was heaps of fun. I'm really grateful to Gerissar and the other guys for participating and everything, and Balinor went on to win from that point. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed some of the narration. Sorry, it was a little amateur, but yeah, I'll look forward to any other tournaments that come up in the future.